Hi, everyone, and happy Sunday. I hope you guys all had a good weekend and you're all hanging in there. As I said in my breakdown for the class schedule, tomorrow is Victoria Day. So this is actually a long weekend, which doesn't feel like a long weekend right now, but regardless of that, it is. So we're going to treat it the same way we would if we were in class together, and Monday is a holiday. Tomorrow is actually my son's third birthday too, which is crazy. I can't believe that he's actually turning 3. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying your long weekend and enjoy tomorrow having a day of rest. You're more than welcome to do all the work for this week tomorrow and just get it all done, but you're also very much allowed to take the day off and enjoy that time with your family. So I hope you guys are all hanging in there. As the government is now loosening up some restrictions, I know that can feel a little liberating and hopefully is giving you guys some hope for what September is going to bring. But of course, maintain social distancing and maintain all of that important stuff that we've been asked to do from the beginning of the pandemic as well, because of course, your health and the health of your family is most important. This week, I've decided to switch things up. I felt like we just needed to have some fun while also giving you something that is more tangible that you can do either by yourself or with your family members, depending on what your preference would be. So last week, we talked about leadership and we went through some different lessons on leadership. And in that lesson on leadership, it talks about the 4 functions of leadership. So looking at planning, organizing, controlling, and leading. So this week, we have a project for you that will be done inside your home that has you actually execute those 4 functions, giving you an opportunity to take on those functions as your own leader in your own household. Okay, so the project has been outlined in Google Classroom and obviously is posted in our weekly breakdown. And I'm actually going to take some time now and go through the project expectations here. So consider this your lesson, okay? So if you open up the assignment, again, this has been posted in Google Classroom. You'll see that all of the logistics for the assignment are broken down here, okay? And the assignment is based on the 4 functions of leadership. So it has you in a planning role, in an organizing role, in a leading role, and then in a controlling role. Now, controlling from a leadership perspective has the wrong connotation. It sounds like it's like this idea of taking control and controlling your resources. So in this particular case, we're talking about controlling your people. But it's actually not about that. It's about taking measures to evaluate and kind of consider and reflect on how things went in the process. So for example, say you set a plan to work out 3 times this week. A lot of you are telling me that you are trying to work out in your basements or what have you. So you decide that's one of your goals. You're going to create a plan. So making sure that you carve out time where the gym is available or the space is available in your home when your mom or your dad are not working out. And you decide for yourself which days those workouts are going to happen. Then you actually go and execute the workouts. And in the end, you're going to evaluate, well, how did that go? Did you actually work out 3 times? Were the workouts good? Did you find you were interrupted? So controlling is all about reflecting backwards and seeing how the process went and evaluating what you would change moving forward, okay? So this project encompasses all 4 of those dimensions. So I'm gonna take you through what your task and challenge is going to be, okay? So you guys are going to be challenged to build a structure, okay? So this is kind of where it breaks it down. So what do I mean when I say build a structure or build a shelter? So within your home, anywhere within your home. So this could be inside the home, or it could be in your backyard. But we have to obviously be, true to social distancing rules and be safe in the pandemic. So it can be anywhere in your home and it can be anywhere in your backyard. And it can use any materials that you have within the home. So you are not allowed to go out to Walmart and buy things for this. Okay, you're just going to be creatively using what you have inside your home. So typically when I do this project, inside the classroom, I provide 3 materials or 3 resources for my students. I give them a whole lot of newspaper, some tape, and something else. And it's not coming to me right now, but it's 3, I think scissors, 3 materials. And they have to create an entire shelter structure out of those materials. This time, Bob is your uncle. You get to do whatever you want, use whatever materials you have in the house. So you really have to think outside the box. You really have to think about the resources that you have, and you really have to think creatively. Now, building a structure out of a table and just calling it that, like that, here's my dining room table and I'm crawling under the dining room table and this is my structure, probably isn't going to reward you with the best grade. Okay, so you do have to think creatively, and I want to see the coolest structure that you can come up with the most coolest resources, if that makes sense. But definitely nothing is off the table, okay? So your objective is to build a structure in which yourself can crawl into. Now, if you're going to involve your parents or your sister or your brother to help you with this process, that's totally fine. You can do this by yourself, or you can actually use your human resources, which in this case include your family members, and have them help you with coming up with the idea and also help you execute the task. That's totally fine. In fact, I think that would be a lot of fun and a great way for your families to bond right now. So maybe you're going to build a structure in which your entire family can crawl into. That's fine too, okay? Again, this is kind of up to you, all right? Your structure has to have a roof, 4 walls, and a door to get in and out, okay? So that's the only criteria that I have for you, is that your structure has to have those elements, but you can also consider decorating your structure. Is it going to be a structure that you can move inside and outside? Will it have windows? Will it have other functional components like, I don't know, maybe a window box or a doorbell, whatever, okay? I'm just coming up with random ideas on the spot. The idea here is that I just want you to have some fun with this. And again, you can incorporate your family. So if your family's coming up with fun ideas too, definitely consider using those ideas as well. So there's 4 parts to this project. You have to create the plan. So that's the management plan. And then you have to execute the shelter or the structure build. Then there's a reflection, which is the controlling aspect of the 4 functions of management. And then there's going to be a photo entry in Google Classroom. This photo entry is a part of a competition that we're going to be running for the class, and I'll explain that at the end of this lesson. Okay? So 4 components. I'm going to scroll down and we'll start going through each component. Okay, so part A is the plan. So before you actually start this project, you have to think about, well, how am I actually going to execute this? So by doing that, you're going to create either a Google document, or you can actually just use pen and paper and just take a picture of that and upload it directly to Classroom as your submission. Whatever works for you guys at this time, okay? So in this document, you have to outline the following components. The project goal. So what type of structure are you going to be creating? What's going to look like? How large is it going to be? Where is it going to be located in your home? And how many people are going to be housed within the shelter, okay? Then from that, you're going to gauge, well, what kind of resources and materials do I need to actually execute this structure? So who's going to be involved? Because people are resources, right? So are you going to involve mom and dad? Are you going to involve just dad because he's a structural engineer in real life and he'd be really helpful to you? Are you going to involve your brother and sister because your job right now is to take care of them and it'd be a kind of a fun project for you guys to work on together? Or are you going to just use yourself, and why? Okay, so as a leader, you have to make that executive decision as to what you think is going to be best for your plan to be executed, okay? And then on top of that, you need to list, well, what other resources do you need? So that includes all of your materials. Are you going to use newspaper? Are you going to use rolls of toilet paper? Maybe not. Are you going to use, whatever resources you come up with? A chair in your house, a specific chair, that kind of thing. So list all of the materials you think you're going to use throughout this structure build. Okay. Again, a special note, all of the resources and materials that you will be using have to be found within your own home. You cannot go outside the home to locate these materials unless they are located in your garage or in your backyard. And then the third component is you have to include a blueprint. So the blueprint can be either something you create online or it can be hand drawn again. And then again, you would just take a picture and upload it directly to the document. Okay. So this is all part of your plan submission. That is part A. Part B is the actual structure build. So the shelter this is the time when you're actually going to execute the shelter. You're going to take your plan and your vision, you're going to use your resources, and you're going to build that structure. Now, this may take several days, or you may try to execute the entire thing within a period of an hour. It depends on you. Time is a resource as well. So you also may have to consider what time you're going to do it, because if you are involving your whole family and your parents are working, then maybe you need to actually plan the specific time in which your family is going to do this, okay? Now, I want you to take as many pictures as possible of your shelter. You are required to take 3 pictures and include that as part of your submission so that I can see what your shelter actually looks like, and I can see that it has the 4 walls, that it has the roof, and that it has the door. Of course, please feel free to take a picture of you within the shelter as well. Okay. Part C is the reflection, and this is going to be done obviously after the shelter build. You're going to do this in a Google document. Okay, so this is going to ask you several questions. The questions are outlined here, so I really don't need to read them because you can read them yourself. But really, it just has you reflecting on, how did the planning process go for you? What was it hard for you to come up with something? A lot of you have said, in your entrepreneurial, IQ profile is that, you don't really feel like you're the most creative person. So maybe this task is really challenging for you. Or maybe this was something that was so much fun for you and it was way better than having to do the fill in the blank lessons, right? So tell me what that process went for you and what was it like? In the end, how closely aligned was your vision to the end result? What changed throughout the actual shelter build? Was your plan executed properly, or did you find you have to make changes along the way? This can also include personality clashes. So for example, maybe you included your parents in on this, and throughout the process, you were getting frustrated because mom or dad were coming up with different ideas and they weren't your vision. This is a thing that happens in leadership all the time. So it's a really cool thing to reflect on. Or maybe that didn't happen and you just had the best time ever. You can tell me that too. And then I want you to reflect on the controlling aspect of leadership. So this is just going to have you think about, well, if you were to do this exact same thing again, now that you've done it, what would you change and why? And then the last question has you reflect on your leadership style. So it's all broken down there. This is a Google document submission. So that's for part C of the project. Now, part D is the photo entry in Google Classroom. So this is something that you're going to do just at the very end. It shouldn't take you more than a minute. So basically, we're going to have a classroom competition. So I'm excited about this because what you're going to do is take one picture that you think is the best picture to represent what you built this week. And you're going to submit it in an editable chart. So I'll show you. I'll just open it up. It's hyperlinked in right here, but I've actually also included it separately in the project submission in Classroom. So you can go right into this document. You put your name in the chart, and then you just copy pasted the picture that you took of your shelter into this chart. So you can see I actually put in a sample picture here of a shelter build that I did once with students in a previous semester. Okay, so you guys are going to do this as well, as you can see, okay? And so we should have all of the entries by Monday at 8 a.m. And then one of the tasks for next week, or one of the assignments for next week, is that you guys are going to have to go through this document and take a look at what everybody built. And then also we're going to do a class vote. Now, the student who gets the most votes for the best, coolest, awesomest structure is going to get the privilege of not having to do an entire assignment for the rest of the semester. So they get to pick one assignment that they do not want to do, and it will not impact their mark at all. Okay, so you can just not do that assignment, and I won't even be looking for it. Okay, so this is pretty cool, a kind of a neat opportunity. So that's what we're going to be doing for part D. Okay, so we all just take one picture of the shelter. If you're feeling concerned about privacy and having a picture of your home, just take the picture of the shelter and crop out anything else in the background, okay? It shouldn't be a big deal, but I understand if that's something that's a little bit touchy for you. If that's the case, just email me. But honestly, if it's just a picture of the shelter, it should be totally fine. And again, we're just going to have a lot of fun and check out what each other has done throughout the week and do a class vote. And the winner gets bragging privileges as well as the right to not have to do one assignment, okay? So that's what we're working on all week, because this is a big deal. It's obviously lots of fun, but there's a lot of different components to it. It's our leadership project, and then we go into the final component of the course, which is marketing, and then we're done the course. So we're almost there. And if you guys have any questions about this or concerns about this, just send me an email. I hope that this is something that makes you feel excited and just something to look forward to, something different this week. It's only one thing that you have to focus on. And like I said, you can get your family involved and just try to make it fun. All right. All right, that's it. That's all I have to say. It's a pretty long video, but hopefully that thoroughly explains what the expectations are for this project this week. If you guys have any questions, send me an email. And I hope you have an amazing week. Have a great day tomorrow with your families if you are celebrating Victoria Day, and I'll see you on